Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how to manifest massive wealth, love, and well-being into your life. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Big video for you today. It really follows yesterday's video. There were so many powerful and lovely comments from you that were reaching out on the channel as well as emails responding to this video. And most of them were really powerful realizations. A few of them, they felt resistance to it. And I want to talk about all of this today and more. The creator I really want to talk about is this. Oh my God, it doesn't get more massive than I am. I love that. It doesn't get more massive than I am. There's nothing greater. There's no amount of wealth, health, and well-being greater than who you naturally are. That's powerful because that gets you everything. Her reaction to the video, how to create outrageous riches, the only requirement, yesterday's video, there's a link below in the description. She was responding as source. She was responding as the center and the one and only creator of her reality and her entire life experience. That's powerful. That reaction was a natural response of her recognizing that well-being, that wealth, that perfect health, that all that love is natural. It's her nature. It's I am, and it's massive. It's beyond massive, right? So massive it's hard to comprehend. It is this. It is the great I am. It doesn't get bigger. It doesn't get greater. It doesn't get more massive than being the center and the operant power of that massive wealth, that massive health, that massive well-being. You're the center of that perfect divine mind. Yes, the circumstances may not seem perfect. Your thoughts and feelings may not seem perfect. The pile of credit card debt may not seem perfect, but I am, but you are. And you're the center of all of it. You're the center of limitless, inexhaustible, massive wealth, health, abundance, and well-being. That's how I want to start today, because this was powerful. Oh my God, it doesn't get more massive than I am. I love that. I love that as a mantra, right? That's powerful. And then there were one or two of you, but how? He didn't share how he did it. This is the video yesterday where the person that I talked about, that member on the membership channel during the live stream, actually responded in detail to that video. It was powerful, but some of you are still digging in, still defending your limited beliefs and asking how. How did the money come? And then you say, well, that's important. And then others will say, yeah, that is important. That's that limited lack and separate, that self that's feeling lack and separation and limitation. You're reacting from lack. You're reacting from separation. You're reacting from limitation. Because why? The how is absolutely irrelevant. It doesn't matter. And when you make that matter, you are identifying with that lack. You are identifying as that separate, limited, and lacking identity. Not as the center of that massive wealth, love, and well-being, but as something outside of it looking in, wondering how to get it out of there. Right, as Abraham Hicks talks about the vortex. You try to get things out of the vortex. You are the vortex. You are infinity. So here, as you react that way, as you believe that, as you assume that, as you ask about how it's absolutely irrelevant, then you are the lack. Who do you say that I am? 16:15 in Matthew in Scripture, Jesus asked this question to his disciples. to his apostles. He asked this question, and they went off on a tangent, naming John the Baptist and Jeremiah and Elijah and all of them, right? Or a prophet. But Jesus asked again, but who do you say I am? That's the question. You're not that lack, but you can identify as that lack. You're not that separation, but you can identify as something separate from what you want. You're not limited, but you can identify as being limited, right? When you know, this is what the Gospel of Thomas says. It really applies today more than ever, especially as it relates to yesterday's video. That's why we're doing another video related to it. It's so big, it's so massive. If you get this, you get everything. That's why we're doing back-to-back videos. When you know yourselves, then you'll be known. And you'll realize that you're children of the living source. Gospel of Thomas. Remember, what is Jesus saying there? That you're the operant power, invoking the absolute unconditional reciprocity between you and that one divine mind. Between you and what they call the Father of Scripture. All that is. Infinity, source, first cause. You're invoking that, but you're the operant power. But if you don't know yourself as that operant power, then you don't have the experience of that reciprocity between you and the divine mind. Right? When you know yourselves, then you'll be known. In other words, you'll invoke that absolute unconditional reciprocity with that massive wealth, with that massive well-being, right? With that massive love. And then you'll have that love and wealth and well-being as manifested experiences. There's no other way. The 3D reality doesn't have a will of its own. It doesn't exist outside of you. It must be a perfect reflection of you as that center of the divine mind. So you'll realize that you're children of the living source, that you're one with that living source. We're going to unpack this idea today and more. And then Jesus goes on, but if you don't know yourselves, then you live in poverty and you are the poverty. There you have it. Asking how, but how did he get it? I'm not feeling, I don't have any money, or I don't have the job I want, or I don't have the specific person that I want in my life. I don't have this, so how do I do it? He didn't specify how. Well, then you live in poverty and you are the poverty. That's what Jesus was saying. The idea of wealth and poverty, wealth or poverty, doesn't exist or live outside of you. There's no wealth or poverty out there. It's within you, those ideas. So if you don't know yourself as source, if you react by asking how, why, where, when, then you are that lack. Then you are that poverty. That's what Jesus was saying. You live in lack and you are that lack. You're that me asking how, when, where, why is this happening? How do they do it? Right? That I am separate from what I desire to be. That's what you're saying. Right? This is that wealth. This is that massive well-being. That's the great I am. But you're saying you're here. Asking how, when, why, where. And I've said many times in many videos, quoting Loki, it's about who, and the who is you. But when you ask how, where, and why, and that he didn't specify that, and that's important, putting that excess importance on that, well, then you're me. You're never going to see it. Then you are the poverty. Then you are the separation. Then you are the lack out there, not realizing that you're the center of all of it. Source, the Father, is greater than me. That's what you're saying there. And I'm not quoting Scripture here. Scripture says something very different. It says greater than I am. In other words, greater than what and who I'm focused of being in this moment. But you're saying that it's just greater than poor little me. The little poverty me, the one that's lacking, the one that feels separate. That source is outside of me. That's what you're saying. So let's dig into this. I and the Father are one. I and my source are one. I and reality are one. I and everything I want and desire are one. That's the message of John 10:30. Let me be clear here, right? There's no separation between who and what I'm conscious of being and all that I am. That's what John was saying. There's no separation between who and what I'm conscious of being. I and the Father are one. There you are as an individualized, unique, divine center of consciousness, center of that divine mind, the operant power of all that is, right? Who and what am I conscious of being? That's the question. There you are. Remember, we use that stick figure to show that's always changing. That physical experience may seem solid, but it's always changing. So that's the question. I and the Father are one. There's no separation here, right? There's absolutely no separation. You are one. There's no separation between who and what you're conscious of being and all that you are. Wow. And all that you are, all those other identities, all those other possibilities. There's no separation from any of it, from between what and who and what you're conscious of being and all that you are, all that potential. That's powerful. My Father, my source, the great I am, that's what that's referring to. And you as a divine, individualized center of that great I am. The operant power. There's absolute, unconditional reciprocity between you, who and what you're conscious of being, and the great source that you are. Wow. Then it goes on to say, my Father is greater than I in John, but not greater than me. Not then is not used as is used as a conjunction, not a preposition, to join these two powerful thoughts. That yes, the Father is greater. It's the great source, right? There's no separation. It's greater than than who and what I'm conscious of being at any one moment. But we are also one. There's absolutely no separation. There's absolute reciprocity. I'm the operant power. So then as a conjunction to join these two powerful ideas, not as a pronoun or a preposition to denote an object or an effect, like I'm an effect of source, like I'm some object outside of source. I'm some little me outside of all that is. The Father is greater than me. That's what you're saying there. No, they were purposeful here. The Father is greater than I, implying I am. Then uses a powerful conjunction to join these two complete, powerful ideas. I am, and my Father is greater. Wow. But we are one and we're not separate. So powerful. Not that little me. I've covered that idea before. So, what are we talking about? My thoughts and feelings may not be perfect. They may not appear perfect, but I am. The conditions and circumstances may not be perfect, but I am. The people, events, and circumstances may not be perfect, but I am. One of you mentioned this, trying to ignore the thoughts, feelings, and things puts them there. This effort of trying to ignore it. Some of you were invoking the observer effect that they talk about in physics, right? That things change when you observe them. And when you turn away, they go away. Yes, on some physical manifested level, that's true. The scientific level, that's true. But what is the real message there? That you are reality. That every time you look or think or feel or assume anything, things are changing. But what doesn't change, that I am awareness, who you really are. So it doesn't matter. We're saying that when you try to ignore something, you put it there. Right? It's like me telling you not to think about a pink elephant, like they say. Right? That's all you're going to imagine is a pink elephant. Trying to ignore the thoughts, feelings, and things puts them there. It makes them real. It gives them reality. It creates a solid manifested reality that has to be ignored now. Right? The only way you ignore something is that you're acknowledging there's something to be ignored. Do you see? What we're saying is be indifferent. Be indifferent to the thoughts and feelings, to the conditions and circumstances, to the people, events, and things. We're not saying don't feel the feelings. We're not saying try to ignore that these things are projected or reflected in your reality. We're saying they don't mean anything. They don't matter. that you're source. Being indifferent means that they're always changing. Do you see it? That's why you're indifferent. They're always changing anyway. There's no proof or anything to be gained from the changing conditions. You are it. They're not evidence of anything. They're not reality. You are. The changing conditions are always imperfect. In other words, they're always going to appear imperfect. They're the imperfect expression of the perfect reality behind it, you. That's why they're only a partial reflection, a partial perception, incomplete seeing of all that you are. There's nothing wrong with them. They're always changing. They're source, but they're an expression of source. They're a changing appearance of source. So it's not about the observing effect. We're way beyond those ideas, way beyond them, right? So sometimes I know some of you that are new to the channel watch a video and then said, well, Tom said, and you take a sort of piece of the message, and then you create an assumption around that. Remember, there's a greater reality, a greater message always with what we're talking about. And you're going to get it in there's 2,700 videos that are talking about that message. So I just want to be clear on that. Remember, it doesn't get more massive or greater than I am. I am that I am, that massive, great I am. I am greater than who and what I'm conscious of being in this moment. That's what that means, right? I am greater, who you really are. Remember, you are the great I am. I am greater than who and what I'm conscious of being. The Father is greater than I. My source is greater than I am, than what I'm currently consciously aware of being. But I'm one with it because it's all me, right? It's all source. I'm greater than any thought. I'm greater than any feeling. I'm greater than anything. I'm greater than the people, events, and circumstances appearing in my awareness. How, why, where, when is irrelevant because the conditions are conditions, but I am. I am the massive reality within which all of those conditions live, move, and exist and have their being. I don't think we've ever said it more clearly than in these past two videos, yesterday's video and today. And that's being reflected in your beautiful messages and that you're reaching out, and even in the sessions and even on the comments on the channel. So remember, you are the massive wealth, love, and well-being that you desire. Imagine that. Make that what you imagine. Do you see it? We're not saying don't imagine it, don't assume it, don't affirm it. Imagine that, affirm that, because that's reality. That's powerful. How to manifest becomes irrelevant, is irrelevant. You are all of it. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, the ambassadors at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter, at Tom Kearin, for being part of our TikTok channel at Be Something Wonderful, for being part of the membership channel. On Sunday, we had our 6th live stream, our 15th live stream so far. It was big, it was powerful, it was beautiful. And if you're a member, thank you for joining, or thank you for watching it after. If you're not a member, check out the link below. We're going to have our next live event on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel at the end of July. Also going to be big and wonderful and amazing. I know this. And you can send your questions and comments to info@besomethingwonderful.com. Creators, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom Kearin here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.